Locally in the digital age, Adam Pagnucco has, been a really wonderful resource through his column, Montgomery Perspective, about what is going on in the county. And I'm going to use this term in a complimentary fashion. He's a muckraker. He picks up, he's a sounding board to keep government honest. And so his online column, Montgomery Perspective, is a fun and well-researched read each day about the happenings in Montgomery County. And in this week's column, Pagnucco exposed the fact that the Montgomery County Republican Party Central Committee here in Montgomery County sent out an email blast promoting a candidate for the nonpartisan school board race and queried, in so many words, whether this was such a good idea. Dwight, should political parties give endorsements in nonpartisan races? We have nonpartisan races, not just for the school board, but in elections for local municipalities like Rockville and Gaithersburg and some others. What do you think?
I think parties are at the liberty of endorsing whomever they want, but I don't think we should be running Board of Education or town council or Kensington mayor, Rockville mayor on a partisan level. Parties can endorse, but I don't think we need to have it get to the point where you have, people running on party lines, Republican line, Democrat line, even though it is unofficially, it does happen, frankly. We've got, Montgomery County Teachers Association, pretty much everyone, I don't think they've ever endorsed a Republican candidate for Board of Ed in the last 15, 20 years or so. I think it's time, it's like if a party wants to get behind a candidate, more power to them, I know not in Maryland, but I know in Nassau County, New York, there was a year where the Republican Party backed a very conservative Democrat candidate for Board of Ed. So I think we keep parties should be allowed to endorse whomever they want, but I don't think we should make, a Republican primary, a Democrat primary, because it just adds costs and more of a bureaucracy.
Okay, so we just put them all in the mix. But Mike, wink, wink, nod, nod. I mean, the Apple ballot comes out each and every race, and as Dwight mentioned, there's no distinction in who they're endorsing.
No, I mean, I think that's true. I think the reality is that we live in a county that's predominantly Democratic. And so many of the candidates who are running tend to be Democratic, although the orientation, I think, especially running for Board of Education, is a nonpartisan orientation. And I personally think that's a good approach. I don't necessarily disagree with Dwight. I think organizations and people can endorse who they choose to endorse. Sharon Cox, who was from Germantown and was a great board member, I think ostensibly at the end of the day was a Republican, but she never ran as that. She ran as a board member. I think she was elected 2 or 3 different times, did a great job. And I think that I just think it's important for us, especially when dealing with education, to at least have the races be nonpartisan, have the individuals run as individuals, and organizations and folks will endorse who they choose to endorse.
Well, here's the question that I was thinking about. The number of people who understand who the candidates are in a school board election, the voting populace is rather limited. And wouldn't this give a greater profile to those candidates and allow the voters to have a better understanding of who they're voting for?
I actually
not hide behind the mask of being independent.
No, I think it actually goes the other way. I think for something like Board of Education, while people don't necessarily inform themselves or get educated on who those candidates are, I think if you align them directly to parties, I think you run into a problem of, and unfortunately you see this in most jurisdictions, not just here, people will vote for the party that they believe they're associated with, as opposed to actually understanding what it is they're voting for. And I think especially with something like Board of Education, you should be taking that extra step to figure out who's making those policy decisions on the basis of your children. And so I like the nonpartisan notion. I think if you align them to parties, I think it actually does a disservice.
Right. You get the last word here.
Okay, my last word is, I think, pretty much, it's a foregone conclusion. Basically, Montgomery County, anyone on the Apple ballot is a Democrat. I think the last Republican they ever endorsed was Connie Morella. So, I mean, making these Board of Education things partisan, having, Republican banner, Democrat banner, it basically, I think as a Republican in Montgomery County, it hurts us because if you have a Republican running, the Democrats will assault you immediately. You know, if you did on the at least this way, we have a slight chance. Like Steve Abrams, who was a Republican, was on the Board of Ed last. I think he might be the last Republican that was on the Board of Ed. And I think that's why, you know, we keep it the way it is. And also, actually, I think we have too many candidates running on the gubernatorial cycles. We should maybe move the Board of Ed, all the Board of Ed candidates, the presidential years, so people can actually focus on the candidates.
Okay. Well, Mike had a quizzical look on his face about this, and Steve Abrams was a dear friend.
No, I know. I couldn't remember if Steve or Sharon served last. I think.
Well,
Steve
I think the distinction is that Sharon never ran as a Republican,
right?
And Steve did, and he was a great guy.